Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to take up William Shakespeare's most famous play entitled As You Like It, Part First. Before moving to the text itself, let's discuss William Shakespeare, his biography, and the drama itself, what drama is. Dear students, you might have heard the name of William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is the most prominent writer and dramatist of English literature. He shines or stands out like a pole star in the entire gamut of English literature or the galaxy of English literature. He is the most prominent and the towering figure of English literature. He is known for world famous plays such as Hamlet, Macbeth, King Lear, Othello, Romeo and Juliet, Antony and Cleopatra, All is Well That Ends Well, Measure for Measure, The Tempest, etc. As You Like It, of course. Twelfth Night. He has written about 37 plays and 154 sonnets. William Shakespeare is a major writer, and every student of English literature has to study in detail William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born at Stratford upon Avon in April 1564, most probably on 23rd of April, and he was baptized on 26th of April 1564. He was the eldest son of John Shakespeare and Mary Arden. His father was one of the most prosperous men of Stratford. Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway in December 1582. She was 8 years older than Shakespeare. Shakespeare had three children: Susanna, daughter, and twins, Hamlet and Judith. Hamlet was a son, and Judith again a daughter. Little is known about William Shakespeare's early life. There is one tradition that he fled from Stratford because he was in trouble for deer stealing. This, however, is not universally accepted. There is another tradition that he was for some time a school master. In April 1593, Shakespeare published his poem Venus and Adonis, which was dedicated to the young Earl of Southampton. It was a great and lasting success. In 1594, his second poem, The Rape of Lucre, was published. By 1594, Shakespeare had written about 9 plays. Soon afterwards, he wrote the first of his greater plays, Romeo and Juliet. By the summer of 1598, Shakespeare was recognized as the greatest of English dramatists. Booksellers were publishing his more popular plays. Queen Elizabeth I died in 1603, King James proved a more enthusiastic patron of plays. In the early years of King James' reign, Shakespeare wrote All is Well That Ends Well, Measure for Measure, Othello, Macbeth, and King Lear. Since 1601, Shakespeare had been writing less. There were now a number of rival dramatists who were introducing new styles of drama. Chief among them was Ben Jonson. Jonson's Every Man in His Humour was acted by Shakespeare's company. Shakespeare seems to have retired from the stage by 1608. His name does not occur in the various lists of players after 7. Henceforward, he lived for the most part at Stratford, where he was regarded as one of the most important citizens. He still wrote a few plays, chiefly tragicomedies. The Tempest was one of the plays written during this period. For the last 4 years of his life, he lived in retirement. His son Hamlet died in 1596. Shakespeare died at Stratford upon Avon on April 23rd, 1616. He was buried in the chancel of the church before the high altar. His wife survived him. When Shakespeare died, 14 of his plays had been separately published in quarto booklets. Now let's discuss the dramatic art, the nature of drama. Drama presents fiction or fact in a form that can be acted before an audience. Dear students, let's discuss what is drama. Drama is what? Drama is the enactment or the representation of facts or fiction or the story. Or we can say drama is the visual form of verbal. Means drama is practical of the theoretical. Means drama is performance of the narrative, performance of the verbal form before an audience. It is, as a rule, intended to be performed in public, not read in private. So, drama is meant to be enacted, meant to be played in front of the public. Its full qualities are only revealed or expressed in presentation on the stage. The drama alone is a composite art in which the author, the actor, and the stage manager all combine to produce the total effect. Since the drama is a form of art which is primarily meant for the stage, it has certain limitations. First of all, there is the limit of time. A play must deliver its whole message within a very few hours, within 2 3 hours. Therefore, it has to exercise great economy in the handing of the plot and the delineation of the character. Delineation means portraying of the character. The dramatist has to work with a number of collaborators. Collaborators means helpers, or we can say co workers, all of whom have to be taken into account: the audience, the actors, the producer, the scene painter, the dressmaker, the musician, the electrician, and many others. He has to consider costs and mechanical and physical limitations. The dramatist speaks through his characters. They may never express their own opinions, as in the case of Shakespeare and many other Elizabethans. On the other hand, they may, as in the days of G.B. Shaw and Galsworthy, put forward with special force and brilliance the author's personal views on social and political questions of every kind. Even then, even then, the dramatist never speaks in his own person. He always speaks through a mouthpiece. That is the character. Aristotle is of the view that the drama should not present life in naked reality, but it should be an imitation of life. That simply means that drama is the imitation of real life. Hence, in drama, the characters and things would be either better than we meet in real life or they would be worse than those of our actual life. The dramatist must color the actual with his imagination, otherwise, drama would lose all its glamour and gaiety. Dear students, drama is the recreation of the events of life. Drama may present life in better form or in worse form. Drama, like other arts, is a representation of life in little, but all art is directly or indirectly colored by the artist's personality, and drama does not promise to be entirely faithful to fact. It's a portrait, not a photograph, a version, not a reproduction. It's the dramatist's criticism of life. It is his verdict upon men and manners, and often suggests what is true by means of the false. Victor Hugo, the celebrated French critic, says that it has been said that drama is a mirror in which nature is reflected. But if this mirror is an ordinary mirror, a flat and polished surface, it will provide but a poor image of the objects without relief, faithful but colorless. It is well known that color and light are lost in simple reflection. A drama, therefore, must be a focusing mirror which, instead of making weaker, collects and condenses the colored are rays which will make a gleam of light, the light of flame. Then only is the drama worthy of being counted as an art. Dear students, drama is the representation of life. Drama is the mirror of society. What does drama do? Drama reflects or mirrorizes the social practices, the social evils, the goodnesses of society. G.B. Shaw, George Bernard Shaw, Galsworthy, they were the realists, means they have represented the reality of life, especially the social evils. Drama has a greater effect upon the psyche of the audience. Novels short stories, or other art form, they also make an impression upon the minds of the readers. But being the visual form, drama affects the psyche of audience immensely. You know, we learn better, we understand deeply the visual form, means the pictures. Take an example. Suppose you read a story, you forget it after a few days or after a few hours. You forget the characters, you forget the events. But the same story, if you watch that story in the form of a movie in the picture hall, you will never forget that story. Simply because that story makes an indelible imprint upon your mind and soul, that makes a lasting impression upon your mind and soul. That is why you don't forget the story. And that is the action of drama. That's why drama is more effective than other forms of art, especially the written forms. So, drama is the enactment or representation of society, of our human life. Let's discuss a few features, or we can say the characteristics of drama. That what are the things, what are the steps included in drama? First, we can discuss the structure of a play. All drama sets forth a problem or a conflict. From the point of view of a structure, a play has five stages. First, exposition. The exposition explains the circumstances or situation from which the action is to take its course. In this part, that part of action is made known to the spectators or the audience, which has already occurred before the commencement of the play. So simple in simple terms we can say exposition is the situation from which the action takes place. Means first of all, a situation or the circumstance is presented before the audience, and from that situation the action of the drama emerges or takes place. Next is complication or rising action. During the complication, the situation progresses or grows more involved. During this complication, the action rises to the complexity, means is rises above towards the climax. Third is the climax or the crisis. During the climax, the situation takes a turn for the better or the worse, accordingly as the play is a comedy or tragedy. If it's a comedy, the climax is better. If it's tragedy, it becomes worse. Denouement. Denouement means the falling action after climax. The falling action unravels the complication. Unravels means reveals, opens up the complication. Veils of suspense begin to fall and solution to the complication begins to appear. Veils of suspense means doubts are cleared, suspense is cleared, and the solution to the problem or solution to the complication is apparent, that it starts appearing. And last is solution in comedy or catastrophe in tragedy. Solution or catastrophe decides the fate of its characters. Thus, the curtain which rings up at the exposition finally rings down at the catastrophe. Ultimately, the curtain falls. In a five-act play, the exposition occupies the first act or so, the complication the next two acts or so, the climax or crisis a part of the third act, the denouement the rest of the third act or the fourth act and a part of the fifth, and the solution or catastrophe the rest of the fifth act. In shorter plays, each phase is proportionately reduced. The typical Elizabethan drama following the Senecan tragedy was divided into five acts, each comprising a number of scenes. So, William Shakespeare has written most of the plays in five act plays. William Shakespeare plays are written or divided into five acts, having multiple scenes within them. That's all for today, and tomorrow we will discuss the types of drama, types of tragedy, and then origin of English drama. And after that, we will come to the actual play as you like it. Thank you.